everyone. Today's day, what is today? Today is April 28th. It's easy to lose track of time. And going on 2 months now of being, on quarantine. Hope you guys are holding up well. I'm holding up fine. Everything's going okay. My hair is getting really long and shitty, which is why I decided to break out my hat of the stuff. I said, if I'm wearing this hat, I gotta complete the all pink. I do have a stuffed t-shirt, but I'm like, well, if I gotta complete this look, I gotta go for the all natural pink vibe, which I don't believe any movie reviewer has ever done, the all pink attire. So I realize I look like a douche right now, but it's all about making this entertaining and having fun. Because under quarantine, that's getting increasingly harder to do. On a serious note, hope everyone is doing well, hope you're staying safe, hope your family, loved ones, and friends are staying safe. It's crazy out there, but it is what it is. And in 2 weeks, I'm actually going to get an antibody blood test to find out if I actually had this virus in January. So that'll be interesting to find out, because January I was very, very, very ill. So yeah, that wasn't fun. But before the quarantine started, because I really had a feeling that there was going to be one, seeing the news and seeing the rates at how everything was going, I was like, yeah, we're going to be locked down. And I had a coupon for a used movie place, as well as some Amazon credits. So before everything went on lockdown, I actually stocked up on a very decent amount of movies, most of which I got used in person at my local places for really, really cheap. So, hey, so I got the April 28th update. It's not as crazy of an assortment as I had in the last one I did on February 29th. That was a bonkers selection of movies, but we got some interesting stuff here. Let's get into it. So I got 2 VHS tapes actually. Since the last update, I had actually gotten a VCR DVD recorder again, so I can now get VHS tapes and turn them into DVDs. This one I got used for $1 at my local place. It's called Beyond the Mind's Eye, a computer animation odyssey, and music by Jan Hammer, who did the Miami Vice music. I guess this is part of a series of videos. There's Mind's Eye, and there's a bunch of other ones that I looked up. Basically what this is, it's like, it's 45 minutes long, and it's just this trippy, as it says, voyage through computer CG animation. But this is like early 90s. So that it's really dated, but at the same time it's really cool to watch. And obviously Jan Hammer has the very atmospheric, techy music playing throughout it. And some of this stuff looks really good. I think some of this they incorporate real photographs too. Like there's one part where they're showing a forest and the leaves, I'm pretty sure it's an actual photo of a leaf, because I'm like, okay, that's too realistic compared to everything else here. And I believe the soundtrack to this is available, so for $1, it's a cool little relic, So I said, hey, what's the harm in that? Checking out a piece of computer history, and, at a time where something like this would be released on VHS, it's like, hey, that's a cool little relic. And same with this. This is a movie that's never been released on DVD, and I've never even heard of this thing, so I didn't know I had no idea what I was getting into. And it's this movie called The Wizard of Speed and Time, and it stars this guy, Mike, who's essentially playing himself. What's his name? Mike Jitlov is in this, and it's basically this guy who is a huge special effects wizard, but he's not hired by any movie studios. It's literally just some guy that lives at home, and he does all these wacky special effects, and it's him. This movie's basically a fuck you to Disney for not hiring him, because he really wants to work for, Disney? Something like that. Like, he's heart set on working for Disney doing special effects, and they turn him down. So this guy made this movie as a result, and it's really thin on storyline. This movie's a gigantic special effect from using stop motion for no reason whatsoever. It's all this stuff. It's very, very, very meta against the big. And honestly, if you're a special effects person and you like good practical special effects of the 80s, this is a very quirky comedy, and I think you will get a lot of entertainment value out of it. It's a comedy for the most part, and it's very silly. Think of UHF, but instead of TV, it's about special effects. That's probably the biggest thing. And Philip Michael Thomas is a cop in this, which I thought was funny. I've never seen anything quite like this before. The Wizard of Speed and Time. It's from 1988 or 89, one of the two. And I'm surprised it's never at least gotten a DVD or Blu-ray release. But hey, you know, with that being said, you really get something interesting. That's how I'm not going to say it's a good or a great ride, but it's definitely entertaining, and you'll get your money's worth out of watching it. Truthfully, just because there's really nothing else like it. And going from The Wizard of Speed and Time just to The Wizard. This was a pre-order I had done from the Shout Select from Shout Factory. I've always been a big fan of this movie since I was in the 6th grade growing up. So seeing a special edition of it come out, because all we ever had was that bare bones Universal DVD. So I was excited to finally see this with good feature, and they loaded it with features too. Commentary, never before released deleted scenes, which that surprised the hell out of me, because the deleted scenes reel is like an hour long. There's literally an hour of deleted scenes, like a lot of exposition. See, a lot of people complain about this movie for being a gigantic Nintendo commercial, but when you watch this you realize there's an hour's worth of deleted scenes that are all about the family and development and stuff, and obviously that was all cut to make it a Nintendo commercial. And after that, disc 2, we've got a documentary, a bunch of Q&A panels with the cast. It was really nice to see a movie that I like. It's always been a big guilty pleasure of mine. It's nice to see it get that kind of special treatment, and I know there's a big audience. This is a huge cult movie. Even though I am not a gamer, like I'm really not. I grew up playing GameCube and Wii. Nintendo 64 was a little bit before my... It was out when I was a kid, but I started with GameCube because I was never a video game kid. But I always liked this, and you know, I'm glad that this got a good release from Shout Factory like that. It came with the poster too. Now this one, I might upset some people with this, because this movie is so acclaimed. Everyone who has seen this absolutely loves it. They're all like, this is the best 80s throwback, this is the best horror splatter movie in years, this... And I'm going to say right now, I like this movie. I had fun watching it. It was enjoyable. But I did not love it. And the whole time watching it, I wished I was having more fun than what I actually was experiencing. And it's the new movie, everyone knows it, VFW. Now VFW, the closest thing I can associate this to, it's like Hobo with a Shotgun, where it's really overtly a neon, cyber 80s, almost post-apocalyptic type throwback. And it was fun. I liked the cast. You know, William Sadler, Fred Williamson, Stephen Lang, fucking Norm from Cheers is in there, George Wendt. But, so, and everyone's saying this is the greatest, this is awesome, it's perfect, and so I went into this with some kind of high hopes, and it's not perfect. I did not enjoy VFW as much as the horror masses did. And my little side hosts here are trying to escape. It's a lot of the movie, first of all, it's shot way too dark. There's a lot of scenes where you can't see what the hell is happening, because they try to do the 80s red and blue neon look, but because maybe it's just the way this Blu-ray is mastered, but it's so dark, there's so many scenes you cannot tell for shit what is happening. These guys are fun, but then you have the girl, who is pretty disposable. The main villain, I don't know who the hell he is. That guy sucked. Like, this movie has the worst villain. Like, this movie is sold on the fact that you have all of these B action heroes combining together. You should have had someone else like that play the villain. But no, instead they get this 19-year-old hipster wannabe dude that was not intimidating at all. And the girl that has like the spikes and stuff, she's more intimidating of a villain than he was. So I liked it. I thought it was okay, but I don't understand the mass praise. Yes, there's a lot of carnage and a lot of gore, but it just was not as fun as I was hoping it to. And apparently, everyone else is saying this is the funnest ride in the world. So I don't know. Maybe I'm a dumbass. I am the one sitting here wearing his all pink with the stuff hat. But I don't know. I didn't get the same. And I thought the ending kind of sucked. It ends on kind of a down note. I'm like, it's kind of a shitty ending. Like, so George Wendt was useless. He did not need to be in there. He's there for 2 minutes. Yeah, I liked it. It's entertaining. There's fun to be had. But I did not love it like the general mass. That's my take on VFW. Everyone's giving it like 9, 10 out of 10. I would give it more like a 6.5 to a 7. And that's being kind of nice. And this next one is thanks to this fucking asshole I know, Brendan. Brendan bought this for me a while back and recently was able to give it to me. I used to work with Brendan at the good old merry land of Sears, and we would always talk movies. We would always talk shitty B-80s movies, you know, we're into the same stuff, and he was always telling me about this movie. He said, Ken, you gotta see this. This is gonna change your life. I will buy it for you. You have to see this movie. With your taste in weird movies, you gotta see this. So again, finally he gave it to me. And from 1982, it is The Forbidden Zone, which was made by the Elfmans. It's a film by Richard Elfman. Danny Elfman and Oingo Boingo are all over the soundtrack. It's like a fantasy musical type thing. Brendan told me this was going to change my life, and yeah, it's not that long of a movie, thankfully, and there's a lot of special features on here, but this, when you see it's made by the Elfmans, that should give you a clue right there, and Oingo Boingo being all over it, and you're looking at this picture on the back, and even this, there's animation, there's stop motion, there's all these trippy musical numbers and blackface, and so yeah. So Brendan, I gave in, I watched it. It's kind of a theme here. It's unlike anything I had ever really seen. It's like you're on the nastiest drug trip you've ever been on for like 80 minutes. Some of the Oingo Boingo songs were catchy. I will give it that. Like, the opening credits are catchy, and some of the songs aren't that bad. They're catchy. And, you know, I'm a guy like, you know, Dead Man's Party, and, you know, like, I'm a fan of some of the Oingo Boingo songs, so it was weird, though. Like, I don't know who the hell I could recommend this to. If you're a hippie who just loves, and it even comes with this little book, which is not to be sold separately, so all these production values. So thanks Brendan, you got your reaction out of me. The Citizen Kane of underground movies. I'm a firm believer that Citizen Kane is a piece of shit, so hey, we don't know. But thank you Brendan for finally enriching my life with The Forbidden Zone. Getting into the DVDs, most of these I got used at my place. So the first one, The Great Escape. I've wanted to see this one for a while. Finally, you know, I got this used, and it's a great movie. I'm a fan of some of these 60s action movies. You know, I'm Steve McQueen, I'm a fan of him. You also got Charles Bronson, Donald Pleasance, James Coburn, James Garner. It's a really cool, you know, it's set during World War II in a prisoner of war camp. It's based on a true story. And even this DVD, I know Criterion is working on a big special Blu-ray of it, but this DVD is from, let's see if I see a year. Whatever year this DVD came out, there's a 24-minute documentary on the making of the movie, and it seems late 90s, early 2000s with the way that documentary is done. And that documentary about the making of the movie was almost as interesting as the movie, because they were talking about how they actually got some of the real-life guys who escaped the camp to be the production designers on this, so they would match the tunnels, they would match the camp, almost to a T of the real events of the film, and I thought that was great. You know, it's not wall-to-wall action. There's a lot of build, but it's not boring. You're intrigued. You're into these characters. You're into the story. You want to see these guys escape, and so the movie, it keeps you in. And some parts, especially the escape scene in the tunnel, there's some genuine suspense in this, so I'm glad I finally got around to picking up The Great Escape. It was a great watch. Not sure if I'll get the Criterion Crazy Special Edition or not, but it's a great movie. And if you like action or prison movies, I recommend it. You know, and I don't go around throwing out like 60s and all the critically acclaimed movies like that lightly, so you know that one's worth it. This one I picked off the shelf knowing absolutely nothing about. I picked it up, I read the plot on the back, I looked at it, I'm like, this looks really interesting. And there was a period of time where I was going, like last month, where I was going through a huge nostalgia swing of the late 90s and early 2000s. And you'll see a couple other examples of that coming up here. And I was really in the mood for a good, I love hackers. And I was in the mood for a good old early 2000s Microsoft cyber thriller. And this movie fucking delivered. I was entertained as hell watching this. It's this movie AntiTrust with Ryan Philippe and Tim Robbins. Basically what this is, it's a fictional company and all that, but it's so clear this is trying to just totally knock Microsoft. The villain is so supposed to be Bill Gates, and that was so funny watching this. And I gotta tell you, I went into this with no expectations, but I loved the hell out of it. Like, it was so corny and so 2001, watching a movie that's essentially hackers meets Scream, where Microsoft is murdering people. and of course it's based on the real thing, you know, 2000, when Microsoft was actually going through an antitrust violation trial. So, you know, there is some truth to it, but the fact they made this movie out of it, it was so... And it was so... It's such a product of its time. It's so 2001. There's a part in there where the guy's like, yeah, check out my new kick-ass software, and it's like Windows 98, and it's like, you're bringing me back. But the movie genuinely, in the third act, really gets suspenseful. It draws you in. Like, I was watching this, I was sucked in. I wanted to see where this was going. There's a lot of twists that you don't see coming, and the satire is totally on the sleeve, but it's suspenseful. It's really intriguing. There's some really creative stuff in it. Like, there's a daycare facility that's like the coolest looking daycare facility I've ever seen, and it keeps you intrigued. I loved it. I'm going to say that right now. I don't know how popular or unpopular of an opinion that is, but I love this. I thought this was fun as hell. Really, the blind buys like that are always the funnest. And this was another one, you know. I just somehow, with as into the 80s I am, this one just skipped my radar, and I had never seen it, so I finally got around to watching Crocodile Dundee. And it's a blast. I fucking love it. And of course, you show this to people today, oh, there are some transgender jokes and stuff in here that, of course, everyone's going to get bent the fuck out of shape about today. I love this movie, and I thought all the jokes were fucking hilarious. Politically correct? No. That's why I fucking love them. Anyone who knocks this movie for being offensive, you can go fuck yourself. And I say that wholeheartedly, because this movie was a blast. I love Paul Hogan. Like, I gotta see 2 and 3 now, because there's 3 of these, right? So I gotta see the next 2. This one left me really craving more. And, you know, it's your typical storybook, fish out of water story. And it's done well. And the joke, even as incorrect as some of them may be, they're fucking hilarious. Yes, they're wrong, but do I care? No, because it's funny, and that's all that matters. Need you forget I have a bachelor's degree in comedy, and that's not a joke, that's a factual statement. So I think I can lend my 2 cents into this if I must. And yeah, it's just fun. Paul Hogan, he works off Linda Kozlowski really fun. Just him not knowing what an escalator is, and prostitutes, and just his no fucks given attitude about everything. This movie was a joy, and I can't wait to watch the sequels. Now this was a total blind buy. I saw this poster, and I saw the title, and I said, if I don't get this, I'm going to be wondering what the hell this was for the rest of my life. I've never heard another human being mention this. The Night They Robbed Big Bertha's. I don't even know where to start. It's a total 70s, like, drive-in, just screwball comedy. That's what this is. It's a screwball comedy where it's... And you want to talk about political correctness with this, man. These guys dress up like Indians. And when I say Indians, I mean Native Americans. To rob this brothel and steal the sex. So you got these guys dressed up like stereotypical Native Americans robbing this brothel, going undercover. But there is so much weird shit in this movie. Like, the brothel has all this money in a safe that these undercover Indians are stealing, but at the same time, they're running a moonshine operation out of the brothel. And then there's this woman in the brothel that is possessed by Satan. And literally, it's a guy dubbing her voice because she's literally possessed by Satan. And the guy performs an exorcism on her by taking the tip off of a mop. You know, like a floor, like a duster mop. He takes the tip off of a mop and puts it on a vibrator. The Night They Robbed Big Bertha's, man, that was a fucking experience. If everything I just said resonates with you, like, as I said, look at this. Look at this poster. Curiosity would have gotten the best of me regardless. And, yeah, The Night They Robbed Big Bertha's. You know what? I don't even regret it. I'm proud to have that in my collection, just so I can say I have something of that magnitude. It's like... That was something. Another blind buy from the same store, same shopping trip my AntiTrust came from. I got this because I saw my boy Paul Walker on it. I'm pissed Fast and Furious 9. I gotta wait a whole year for it now. But this is not about Fast and Furious, this is about Into the Blue. I never heard of this one, which made it interesting. I saw the cover, Paul Walker, Into the Blue, and then the treasure has its price. And once again, going off my nostalgia trend of the early 2000s, this is from 2005, but still I'm like, this looks like such a 2000s extreme sports kind of thing, and not really that. It's a treasure hunt movie, and it's kind of like that movie Fool. If I could talk. It's kind of like that movie Fool's Gold with Matthew McConaughey. That's kind of the vibe I got. Although this one was really cool. I love Paul Walker. He's a great actor that did not get the credit he really deserves. And this was great. So it's Paul Walker, Jessica Alba, Scott Conn, and Josh Brolin is in this. You know, they're treasure hunters. So, you know, they ride around on their boats and their jet skis and stuff, finding underwater treasure and stuff like that. And they stumble upon this wreckage and these dead bodies and all this gold and all this treasures on there. And it turns into like a thriller, like an espionage movie where, you know, Josh Brolin is going after it and people are getting killed and there's pirates and stuff like that. Not like, not that kind of pirate, like, you know what I mean. And it starts a little slow. I keep readjusting Bart Simpson over here. It starts a little slow. But when it gets going, it gets going. I remember I was sitting here at first, I'm like, okay, this kind of seems like a hipstery type thing. But as soon as the plot got going, it got really interesting. And by the time the third act rolls around, it has a really cool, satisfying finale with how the villain ends up getting the comeuppance. And a fun ending, too. So I like this one. You know, it's not wall-to-wall action or anything like that, but it's a good thriller. You get some good twists along the way, and Paul Walker and the characters carry it. They do a good job creating the nice beach, summer thriller atmosphere of this on-the-water treasure hunt. And I guess there was a direct-to-DVD sequel that has nothing to do with this. And I'm just going to go out on a whim and say it's probably a piece of shit, so I don't plan on picking that up. But this one I recommend, and I'm interested. It's got all these deleted scenes, commentary, making of, so I'll be interested to check out the special features on it. And once again, nostalgia. I grew up in the early 2000s, late 90s, when like every commercial on TV for kids was skateboarding, rollerblading, extreme sports, yeah. So I had to check this out. Extreme Ops, as a movie, it's not that good. I know this movie gets shit on critically. You know, Devon Sawa's in it, but Bridget Wilson. Guys, I have to say it. You guys are everyone's gonna unsubscribe from me right now. I had a blast with this. It's so stupid. Yes, it's a bad movie, but it's entertaining as shit. Because it is just 2001, 2002 extreme sports to the max. It is such an early 2000s movie. And I loved it. I'm just going to say, it's so stupid. It's so bonkers. I found it entertaining as hell. I really had fun watching it. Like, there's this one, like, German punk singer girl in there. And it's every early 2000s stereotype to the max. It's like, if you remember in the early to mid-2000s, those Capri Sun fruit drinks, those juice boxes, and all the juice boxes had the artwork on it of the jet skiers and hang gliders and beach volley, all that. I quoted this to one of my friends, like, if the Capri Sun juice boxes from the 2000s got turned into a film, that's this. It's so stupid, it's so bonkers, it's so a product of the early 2000s that I actually kind of dug it. I'm probably the only person in the world saying that about this, but you know what? I give it the pass. I know some people, it's like, you're shitting on VFW and you love Extreme Ops? That's right, baby, because I got my own opinion. And so I had fun. Not everyone's going to have fun with it. I wholeheartedly think I'm a silent minority in that, but I had fun. But if you want to see that movie done right, obviously Cliffhanger. I don't think this needs much introduction at all. It's a badass movie with Sylvester Stallone and Michael Rooker. They play off each other great. Stallone gives some awesome comeuppance to the villains. The cinematography, a lot of this movie is harrowing as fuck. You know, climbing up the mountains and rock climbing and all that stuff. Tons of special features too, which is great. I can't wait to dive into those. And Rennie Harlan directed it. If he directs a movie, you know it's most likely gonna be good. To this day, I haven't really seen a Rennie Harlan movie I don't like. So, you know, he's a very good, talented director, knows how to do action and thriller and stuff like that. And yeah, this does not need much introduction. I'm very late to the party in picking up Cliffhanger, but it's awesome. How can you be an action movie fan and not love Cliffhanger? And these next two, this is kind of a sad story because in March I was enrolled in the Citizens Police Academy through the Village. And it was going to be so much fun. We did the first session of it. It was going to be awesome doing all this police training. It was going to be a really fun thing for me to do to get my mind off work. And then the coronavirus struck, and no more police academy for this year. No more citizens. Because the week before I started it, I bought these. Police Academy 1 through 4, and Police Squad, the complete series with Leslie Nielsen. Now, the Police Academy movies I had never seen, actually, so this was new to me. And I know there's 7 of them, and they say 5, 6, and 7 are the shittiest. You know, I haven't gotten there yet, but as far as these 4 go, I genuinely loved all 4 of these. People talk a lot of shit about 3 and 4. I don't understand why. I thought they were great. And in fact, 3 and 4, 3 has the finale on the jet skis, which was impressive as fuck. It might be my favorite finale out of any of these. And then 4 had the thing with the hot air balloons where he's climbing up the side of the hot air balloon. I'm like, I don't care who you are, that is one fuck of a stunt. So, I loved all 4 of these. And once again, I don't think they need much introduction. I'm almost tempted to say 3 is my favorite out of all of these. I know that's probably an unpopular as fuck opinion, but hey, I love 3, especially that ending on the jet skis. I thought it was fun as hell. And you know, Bobcat Goldthwait and Tim Kazurinsky work off each other so well. I got no complaints about any of these 4. I loved all 4 of these. And obviously, if you have, most of you probably have, but if you love the 80s, you love comedies, you know, get yourself into the Police Academy movies. I'm just sad I didn't get to do that Citizen Police Academy, because that was literally going to be so cool. They had such a cool curriculum planned out for the 12 weeks. It was going to be so much fun, and there was a really cute girl in there, and it's like, man, we only got to do the first class, and then it got canceled. So I'm like, motherfucker. Hopefully 2021 we can rectify that. And Police Squad, it's typical Leslie Nielsen shtick. It's a lot of fun. You know what you're getting into with Leslie Nielsen. I don't think I need to say that much about it other than that I enjoyed the hell out of it and I was highly entertained. And lastly, these past couple updates, I've been building my Dave Hood Real Wheels collection. So this was my addition. Although this one's a little bit different. This is the Real Wheels Tractor Adventures DVD. That comes with there goes a tractor, there goes a farm truck, and there goes a dump truck. Now these, the Real Wheels brand, and they're the same series, although these 3 are unique in the sense these are the only 3 that Dave Hood himself did not host. It was a younger guy named Dave Sidoni, who was famous for hosting game shows and some MTV shows in the 90s. And I like him here, you know, he's not, no one can replace Dave Hood, but for these types of, most of them are farm, you know, tractor and farm truck are very farm oriented, and dump truck is construction sites. It's kind of a retread of Bulldozer with some new stuff in there. But I've got very fond memories of farm truck when I was a little kid. For some reason I always loved There Goes a Farm Truck. It's Dave Sidoni going out on this scavenger hunt trying to find all these fruits and vegetables for this market that's opening. That one I always had. So, and as a, you know, it's fun finally, I grew up with these for the past 22 years of my life. So it's fun finally getting to see bloopers and stuff like that that I've never seen before. And as I said, I want to include these in my DVD collection because they're such a big part of my childhood. I really want to have them all going forward. And I've collected most of the Real Wheels series. You see some of them in there. There's 2 I still need to get. So you'll probably see those in the next 2 DVD updates. So there's that. But yes, guys, that is my quarantine movie collection update. I look like a jackass right now. Hopefully the next time you see a movie update from me, it'll be happier circumstances. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Stay in touch. Keep doing what you're doing. Staying positive, staying healthy, hygienic, safe. And we're getting out of this soon. Come on. We're going to power through and we're going to take back summer 2020. Alright, guys. Thanks for watching, and we will see you all soon. 34 minutes, not as long as I thought. Alright guys, later.